Yeah.
Heck yes. Yes. You three guys back there, slide up in front. You're right up in front of the table over here. Please don't start yet. We'll get started in just a second. Okay? Okay. If you don't get that moving, then we'll get going. Is the mirror adjusted okay before I start? Okay, so everybody's going to stay focused. We're going to videotape this. You are going to be the ones that it's posted on YouTube for all the students that aren't here. So if you have good questions to ask, go ahead and do that. Because you're going to be on the video.
What are you making?
Okay.
Over easy eggs.
Over easy eggs. That's our job today. Okay, you ready?
Everyone making it?
Everybody's making it.
Super straight.
Are you guys ready? Okay, let's start. Today we are going to be making over easy eggs. If you guys look at your agenda on the board, your job is to first watch the demo, and this is an important demo because this is an individualized lab. Each one of you will be making one over easy egg. And when you finish with that, you have two other things that you should work on today. You should work on your demonstration that's due on Wednesday with your team. If you were absent Monday and Tuesday of last week, you need to address that. And you will be finishing, if you haven't already, your research on why chickens. Most of you, I think, completed it last Tuesday. Today, we're going to start with our omelet pans. Remember that eggs are made of what?
Protein.
Protein. Good job. They are all protein. So what temperature should we set our burners to for protein?
3.
High? Low. Okay, definitely. You want to do a low to medium temperature. On your range, you want to use the small burner. On this range, you want to use 2.5 to 3. On this little burner, it's a little bit hard to control, but we're going to use between the low and the medium setting. I'm going to place about a teaspoon of butter into each of the pans. In your kitchen groups, the first person needs just a little bit more butter than the rest will need, and you're going to use the pans repeatedly. You don't have to wash in between. Make sure that you're using fresh eggs. Purchased these this morning at Kroger. I'm going to break the egg and place it into a custard cup or a small container. Why would we not break the egg directly into the skillet? Could be a bad egg, could be what? Absolutely. We don't want to break shell and have it cooking in our egg in our hot skillet and then us eat the shell. We want to make sure that it's a good egg and that there's not shell in it before we place it in the pan. We're going to allow the butter to melt. We're going to be using a medium-sized spatula in your kitchen. If you only have a large spatula, please ask me. You need a smaller spatula to flip your eggs today. Once the butter has melted, it's bubbling just a little bit in the bottom of the pan. Make sure it's coated the pan. You're going to go ahead and add your eggs. I'm going to place one egg in this pan, and I'm actually going to show you 2 ways of flipping the eggs today, so I'm going to demonstrate 2 eggs. I'm going to place the second egg in the pan. On the supply table today, you're going to find butter, your eggs, toast. You may each have 2 slices of toast, butter and jelly for the toast. You're also going to find the egg fact sheet. If you haven't already completed this, remember to skip number 1 until you have done all the other questions. Then come back and write 2 facts, 2 things that you learned about chickens or eggs that you didn't know before you did this research. Also on the supply table, you're going to find your rubric. Make sure you do your first and last name and your block, and then bring the rubric with your egg on a plate and a fork to come up to the demo table for evaluation. We're going to be looking for an egg that the yolk is whole. We want to cook it over on both sides. No longer is a sunny side egg up good to eat because of what bacteria?
E. coli.
No. Salmonella, good. Can you get a shot of the egg for me real quickly? Can you see it down in the pan?
Yeah.
Okay, great. So we can't just cook the egg until the white is done and the yolk is not cooked over, because the yolk might contain salmonella and we might get sick if we were to eat that. So we want to flip this egg. We're going to make either what's called an over easy or an over medium egg, not an over hard egg, not a fried egg. And so then to look at that, I'm going to take the fork and I'm going to check the yolk to make sure that it does have a little bit of give in it. But the white, I'm going to cut into the white part of your egg, the albumin, and the fork will glide into it, because cooking it at a low to a medium temperature is going to allow the protein to be very tender. Appearance is really important when you go to flip your egg. If it folds, if it bunches up, if it tears, you could lose a few points for that. And last would be the taste. If you can cook this egg at a medium to low temperature and keep the yolk whole after you flip it, it is going to taste delicious. So those are the criteria that we're going to look for on your rubric. We're going to allow the yolk to cook until it's almost cooked through. Although don't wait too long to flip your egg out of hesitation. You want it to still look like the white is gooey on the top before you flip it, and then you slide it over. There are two ways to flip eggs. One is with the spatula. You basically go under it, kind of roll it over, and let it slide completely over. Once you flip it, you're going to let it set about 30 to 45 seconds and then put it on your plate. The other way to flip an egg is what you would learn to do at a restaurant or when you were doing multiple eggs. And that's when you take the pan and you actually roll it and allow the egg to come up and over. I would not know how to do that. I know I'm seeing some heads go, no, couldn't do that. I wouldn't know how to do that either had I not worked in a restaurant as a short order cook. And I actually in college worked at it wasn't a Perkins restaurant, it was in Columbus on I-71. They opened at 6 o'clock in the morning, and their big deal was breakfast and pancakes and French toast and those kinds of things. So I will show you how to do that. And if you decide you want to try that, it's fine. Just do not do it over the range top. If it doesn't make it all the way over, we don't want an egg going down into the burner for you to clean up. You need to try it over the counter at the sink. This egg, can you guys get a good look at this? This is ready to be flipped, and I'm going to do this one with the spatula. This is what probably most of you will choose to do. Slide your spatula under the egg, gently roll it completely over. The egg should have no brown on it, and it should not be broken. This egg is very close, and we're going to flip it. It's actually cooking a little bit slow, so I'm going to bump it up just a tad. This egg we're going to let set about 30 to 45 seconds, not too long. We don't want to overcook it. And then with your spatula, you can take it back out, put that pretty side back up, and that is what you want this egg to look like. So again, with my rubric, number 1 on the rubric is that the yolk remains whole. When I press on the yolk, though, it still is soft. It's soft cooked. It's not hard when I press on it. When I cut into the white of the egg, it is super tender. My fork glides in, but also notice that there's no white running, so it is cooked thoroughly. And the appearance of the egg. It's not folded. It's not overcooked. This would be an 80 out of 80 on your rubric. Now I'm going to take this egg and I'm going to do the flip. Just a gentle up and over. And you can practice that. You must use an omelet pan to make that work. It's not going to work with a regular frying pan, but with an omelet pan, you just slide it up and over. The egg gently rolls. It works really awesome when you're doing omelets, because when you do 2 or 3 eggs and you want to keep it solid tomorrow for omelets, it's a really nice technique to use for that, but you've got to master doing a single egg first before you can do an omelet. And then I would do the same thing when I flip it back, a little bit higher that time, and then I would slide it out. Now, what do I want to avoid? A little bit here. I probably left this egg in just a little bit too long. See the little bit of crispy here? That's where the thin part of the egg ran out, and because it's on the edge, I can gently just cut that off. But I want to be seeing that egg white that is super tender. There's no runny white when I cut into it. The yolk is solid intact. When I glide across it, you can see that it has some give to it. That's what I need for you all to perform for me. Now, your rubric, first and last name, your block,